how to properly coil a line. You guys would be amazed by some of the coil jobs that I've seen people do over the years. And a properly coiled line is not only just neater and more organized when you're out sailing, but it's actually a safety factor as well too. If you're under sail and you've got to drop a sail real quick, like release a halyard or blow a sheet, if your line's not properly coiled, that can create a downright dangerous situation. Same thing if you're, going into a dock and you need a dock line, or you've got to get a tow line to another vessel, or vice versa. If a line's not properly coiled, it will not throw properly, which can lead to a whole nother mess of problems. So without any further ado, let's learn how to properly coil a line. So like I mentioned, this is how I like to coil them. So you've got a tag over here, so you can either hang a dock line in a lazarette, neat and organized, or if you're gonna use this for like a jib sheet, let's say, you've got something where you can hang the halyard at the mast, which will keep it off the deck, which will prolong the life, because it's not gonna be sitting there getting moldy and mildew on the underside like it would if you were to just leave it on the deck. So probably the first thing I want to talk about before we go into that, how to coil a line, is how not to coil a line. So we see this all the time when we're out sailing with new people, where they'll do what I call the cliffhanger coil. So they'll take the bitter end, they'll put it in their dominant hand, and just like Sylvester Stallone in that god-awful movie from the 90s, I mean, it's not a god-awful movie, it's just not a great movie, they'll coil the line like this. Now this looks fine and dandy and all nice, and when you're done, you end up with pretty nice uniform loops. Now the reason though that this is not a good way to coil the line is you don't take any of the twist out of the line like you do in the way that I'm going to show you. So when you go to throw the line, it's usually a bit of a cluster. So it just doesn't fly straight. So instead, the way that you should coil a line is you take the bitter end of the line you're coiling, put it in, I like to put it in my dominant hand, and then I usually go, because of my arm length, with a loop about yay big, and do that. Now when you're bringing the lines together, your left hand and your right hand together, you're also putting a quarter twist in the line, or something around a quarter twist, depending on how much twist. You can see how much twist that cliffhanger coil did to this line, so I'm probably twisting it a lot, but more or less a quarter twist. You gotta shake out that crappy coil and bring it in like this. Quarter twist and bring it in. Quarter twist, bring it in. Quarter twist, bring it in. Now usually when I've got a tag on it like this, that's usually about the length I'm going for, probably about this, depending on where I'm going to store the line. But once I get to this point, I move the coil over to my left hand, which is my non-dominant hand. I take the bitter end and I wrap it around the coil, overlapping that first loop 2 or 3 times, and then I bring the bitter end back through the center and then snug everything up. That gives you a nice tag that you can work with to coil the line and hang it, for wherever you're going to store it. So there you go. That is, in my opinion, the proper way to coil a line. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, shoot me an email, and as always, if you like what I have to say, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks and have a good day.